What's up, everybody? My name is Bobby, aka Lumberjack Smack, and today we are going to play Dauntless, the free-to-play game from Phoenix Labs that released on May 21st of this year, 2019. It is available on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It's coming to the Switch and mobile. It does support cross-platform play right now, which is awesome. PlayStation, Xbox, PC have a ball together out there. A quick description from the press kit here. Dauntless takes place in a fantasy setting where a cataclysmic event has torn the world apart, releasing monster-like behemoths that prey on surviving humans. Players take on the role of slayers to take down behemoths, collecting loot that they use to craft and upgrade weapons and equipment as to take down larger and more powerful behemoths. An easier way of saying that, this is free-to-play Monster Hunter. And that's okay. It's a good time. It's got a very fun art style, as we'll get into. It has a pretty decent loop. If you are a fan of the Monster Hunter series, this is more of like a Monster Hunter Lite. So today we're going to take a look at a few different things about Dauntless. We're going to start off by looking at some of the customization you can do between different classes and weapons and gear. We're going to talk a little bit about what those free-to-play elements are and how much it asks for your money. We'll show you a little bit about the quest structure and how you get those. We'll probably take a look at the combat. Obviously, we'll take a look at the combat. And we'll see what goes from there. So, right out of the gate, as soon as you load into Ramsgate, which is the city that occupies all of your vendors, it's where you get your missions. It is the hub world that you can see all the other players join into. They are asking you to spend some money right out the gate. Hey, we got a great deal on the Hidden Blades Hunt Pass, which we'll get into some of the Hunter Pass stuff as well. But you can get the bundle right now at 40% off as they are still celebrating the launch of the game. So if you wanted to see what that looks like, we'll get into that here in a little bit. But for the times being, I'm going to show you what's going on in Ramsgate. So this is my character. This is Lumberjack Smack here. As you can see, I have spent a little bit of money to get some of the stuff on this game. And this is Ramsgate. So this is the world hub where everybody hangs out. And you can get your quest, your gears. This is where your loot boxes live. This is where you can gather your hunting party. It's all right here. This is where the fun begins, as they say. So, as you can see right away, there's a dagger. If you grab this dagger, each day there are these death marks that you can collect. And I have not gotten all of them since I started playing this game. But some of them are a little bit more obvious. Some of them are hidden around through here. You just grab them, and we'll see if we can find 10 of them as we're running through Ramsgate. So let's do a quick little rundown of what Ramsgate is in this main hub area. Over here on the right, you can do a few things by checking out some of your weapons. You can see some of your gear that you can acquire. You have Gregario here. He is kind of the guy that's handing you all the stuff. So if we talk to him, he loads into your hunt pass. So we're on season 5 of the Hidden Blades. It ends in 45 days. As the time of recording, it's May 26, 2019. And you can see that there's a basic and an elite. The hunter pass does have the ability to skip to the next level. It goes up to 50 here. And if I wanted to go ahead and skip all the way up to 50 to get all those goodies, that would cost you 6,600 platinum. I think that's what that is. There's a few different currencies. And as you can see, I am nowhere near having that amount. But some decent stuff in here. So you do get more platinum. You can get a few different signal flares. There's different things that you can do as far as like emotes. Let me back out and show you that really quick. So when you hold down the left trigger, you get this wheel that you can move around through and get your different emotes. Right now I haven't put anything into these. These are just the standard stock ones. So you have a thumbs up, a nope, cheer, and that away for your standard emotes. You can do a banner plant. This is pretty cool. You can customize the banner, lay that down. I haven't really worked on my banner yet either. It's pretty generic. That is the stock banner. But hey, it's mine and people know that I'm here. So anyway, one of the other things is the flare. And you can't do that right now. But as you get into an event, when you locate the behemoth, you need to signify your team that that's where it's at. There's not a map that shows you where your team's at, so you really have to be a bit aware of where the noise is coming from and keep an eye up in the sky. And hopefully your team will alert when they find the first behemoth for that. So back over here, This is again where you can buy some of the hunt pass. You can also acquire some of the cosmetic items at this vendor here. The mirror. You can always change your appearance, which is really cool. You can come in and go through all that. So you have basic head shapes that you start with, and then you can decide if you want to have a masculine or a feminine body. There is another setting for this in a deeper menu where I think it's more of just like a neutral, which is great. I just don't understand why they don't have it here. That was a little strange to me. You got some different tones here for skin, and then you can really do some nice customization for your character's head shape. And then you have eyes. You can go in and do different colors for your eyes. You can change individual eyes, which is really nice. As far as your hair goes, I'm bald if you couldn't tell, but I do have a nice beard. And you can change the color of that, the different hairstyles that they offer. You can do different facial hair, and then you can change your eyebrows here. Then you have all this for your nose, which there's a ton of stuff to break down your nose. Same with your mouth, ears, and your jaw. And then they have an option for face extras. You can do some makeup. So pretty. There it is. Or you can do like tattoos or war paint and have those elements here. And again, these are things that you can just come in and add and take off. There's no cost to do it. It's always right here in Ramscape, so you can come and change that. Moving on, we're coming over to this particular vendor. A little bit of lag there. This is Marcus, and Marcus is your potion guy. So as you can see, there are two that I've unlocked. The Blitz Tonic, so this grants between 10 to 30% increased attack speed based on health missing for 60 seconds. Pretty handy. When I play Monster Hunter and when I'm playing Dauntless, I do like the hammer. These games really encourage you to explore your different weapon types, and some of the quests that you pick up are going to tell you to do just that. Hey, you need to be playing with this weapon for this quest if you want to pass that. But it's a nice way of getting you to find what fits. If you are a new beginner to a game like this, I would tell you go out and use every weapon, even if it's a weapon that you've always avoided in other games. Like if you are more of a rogue where you like to have a very fast attack, you can use some of those chain blades. If you're more of a warrior, they got some nice swords. If you're heavy, use those hammers, but play around, get a feel for it. It'll probably be different than what you're used to. Hey, Banner Saga's downloaded. Thank you, Game Pass. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention earlier, I am playing this on Xbox if you haven't figured that out by now. The other tonic you can get is the Bulwark Tonic. This reduces damage taken by 45% for the next 3 hits. Super handy. They show you what you need for the requirements. Whenever you get into the hunts, you'll be able to find items in the world that you can collect and then craft when you come back here. So I'll go ahead while we're here and craft a few of these.
Get some use out of it.
And try and take 5. And I'll do same with Blitz. And then I'll show you how you put these into your loadout, because you can have different loadouts for what those missions require. And we'll get into a bit of that momentarily.
Right. See you later.
Over here is where you get your missions. So if I hold down A, you can see that I have a patrol. Patrols are going to be a little bit different. They're going to have you go out. You can encounter behemoths, obviously. Those are the ones that you can. It shows you the threat level for this neutral patrol. And typically those neutral patrols are going to give you behemoths that don't particularly have an elemental resistance or buff to them. But this will show you, here's what you want to acquire for the power of the raw ether, I'm sorry. No, it is Aether, my bad. And you can grab these things and get daily bonus patrols. Complete 3 patrol hunts for neutral behemoths. So this is part of that ongoing patrol element that they have. The pursuit is the hunts. And here you can go in and see all the different available behemoths and what you would get for beating them. But that also has the exclamation mark here that shows you this is one that you need to be doing sooner, or this is part of an ongoing quest that you've selected. So once you do this, it starts the matchmaking process where it's going to be looking for other hunters or slayers. In this case, I'm sorry. I'll try not to use the Monster Hunter lingo that much more. But you'll look for other slayers, and it'll immediately give you a countdown, so you can wrap up a few other things. But once you start and collect this, it goes into it. You can do a private hunt, and that's something I would recommend if you're really struggling. So if you encounter a behemoth that you're really having difficulty with, do a private hunt, learn its moves, find out like how it's going to be attacking you, and see how you can embrace it one-on-one. And I promise you, if you can get those movements down, you will be in a much better place when it comes to the team hunt, because there is going to be an individual score and a team score at the end of every hunt here. So backing out of this, we are going to go over here and talk to Katerin. And Katerin has been the mentor. She has the biggest quest here, so I'm on my like third or fourth quest with her. And this is more or less like an introduction, just trying to get you to like do all these other like tasks and elements of the game to understand the systems of play. So this is a really great place to be if you're trying to figure out what to do next. Start with her. She'll give you what you need, and then the other corresponding vendors and people that you'll be working with will offer you stuff as well. This particular well, I think is what it's called. I can't remember what they call this here. But when you go into it, it's a core breaker. Sorry, not a well. This is where you're going to get your loot boxes. You can get them usually after every one of your hunts. If you do buy into any of the free-to-play options, they usually include a few of those cores. There's rare cores, uncommon cores. They are the typical colors. So far I've seen green, blue, and like the magenta purple color. I'm sure that there's a yellow one that you can get as well. Over here, beyond the core breaker, you have the middleman. And as you talk to the middleman, he's taking these cells that you get from the cores, and you can go in and kind of, how do I want to explain this? You can infuse them together and unlock more slots here. So if I wanted to activate this particular exchange slot, I have the opportunity of adding more in and combining and doing more with those particular cells. I don't have a ton of information here. I haven't used it a whole lot. So as you can see, I do have a lot of these different cells, and they break them down based off of defense, power, mobility, technique, and utility. And they're pretty self-explanatory. And whenever you have different gear slots, it's going to let you know, like, hey, you can only put a defense cell in here. And as you can see, I have the blue and the green, and what that would give me if I wanted to salvage it or get other aether dust or anything of that nature. And that would go down into some of those currencies at the bottom that you can see.
Return soon.
Moving on through Ramsgate, which, again, like I just want to note, like I think it's got a fun style. People who are fans of Fortnite will probably identify pretty clearly with what they're doing here. I don't play Fortnite, but I'm very aware of the look and feel of it. And I think some of the character designs here should not shock anybody at all. And over here is your gunsmith. This is Janek. So I just... and your grenades also. They talked to you a little bit about the guns here. This is an objective that you can do. They want you to deal 10,000 damage with your Ostian repeaters. I've done this. The guns are fine. It's not necessarily how I want to play, but I do appreciate that they offer a few different styles. Like you can do like a power shot. They're pretty quick repeating revolvers here. And then you can throw out buffs to your teammates that they can pick up for their more melee attacks. But if I wanted to craft something different, you've got a few different parts of the gun that you can go in and do. So you have your standard barrel. Over here you have your grip. Then you have your chamber. On the particular barrel, though, they have added the elemental. So if I wanted to do a frost damage, or if I wanted to do a flame damage, or an electrical damage, I can take these particular barrels and then craft them into it. You can see underneath the create that I'm missing components to do that, and we'll get into the quest. So if you are looking at a particular build, or hey, I know I'm going to be going after this behemoth that's going to be doing this damage or resistant to these attacks, you might want to start to like go back and grind a bit to get the resources to get you the right equipment to take on here.
We will speak again.
Grenades are super helpful. There's a quest for those as well, and that's where you get those also. And this is more or less just like a hub area where people are socializing. I think it's just NPCs here at the bar for now. I don't think I can do a whole lot with Teresa at this time. So I'll come back there. Question marks are going to be that quests that you can turn in. They will be gold once that's ready. So I've taken on 2 from Doctor here.
This is urgent.
So I can get a rundown of what these are. So I need to do 3 patrols, which I showed you earlier. I just picked those up. And then I have the rewards here as well that you will get from that. Same thing here, like gathering these particular elements. That's a pretty good passive one. I typically like to do the patrols when I'm playing solo. Not always, or I might have like 1 or 2 guys that I'll be doing this with. But usually when I'm patrolling, I want to do that on my own rather than like having to work with a group to move through it. Now you can encounter a behemoth, so it'd be nice to have a group there. But I find it a nice way to just unwind, and it's usually how I end. When I was playing Monster Hunter especially, go and do a few hunts, and I would come back and just go and get some resources afterwards. This is Arcan. So Arcan is the Aethersmith, which is where you're going to have these particular different lanterns that go onto your back hip, and these have different abilities in them. So you can craft these. This is, I don't want to call it a super or an increased attack, but there are some passive things that happen. So you move faster for 6 seconds, and you move a heck of a lot faster. I have the Shrike on right now. I was using the Skarn earlier, which gives you a shield. Again, I had the Shrike when I was using the guns, as I was able to move around the behemoths and support the team a little bit more at that time. But with the Skarn, which is typically what I'm using with the hammer, I'm really up in it, and I want to make sure I'm protected the best that I can be. Same thing here. You can do an instant, which is a tap or a hold, and there's 2 different things with each one. I particularly just always hold it down because I'm just in the moment doing that particular action. Here is where you will craft your gear, and this is one of my favorite places to be. So after each encounter with a behemoth, you will now have weapons and gear based off of their abilities or their characteristics. So whenever you are fighting them, you're able to break parts off, cut parts off. When you beat them, you get these elements that you can come back to the armor smith here and start to craft. So you can see each different armor set offers some sort of elemental to it. I have crafted, I'm wearing this one here, the Embermane. It doesn't look that way because I have a skin over that, which is something that came with one of the packs I got. But each one of these, and you can mix and match. I have not seen anything like for complete set boost or buffs or anything like that. But if you wanted to have more of a balance, you can start to mix and match elements to really get you that build that you're looking for. So if you want to be all in on this, where maybe I'm going to fight something that's going to be doing more frost or shock, like this is great, but I wouldn't want to have this Drask mask on if I was going to be fighting something with Terra or Blaze resistance. So that you can see in the bottom, currently equipped, shows you the elements that you have. I will show you the loadout mechanics here shortly, I promise. But yeah, this is a great area to be hanging out and give you an idea of like what hunt would you want to do next. Oh wow, that looks really cool. I want to get that piece. Do I have everything I need? So here we go, the Drask. Like I'm on this one. Obviously, I need some stuff there. This might be an area that I go. I think this is really cool looking armor, by the way. So maybe we'll do a Drask. That might be something we do today. And then let's go take a look at the weapons. And this is where we can really start to break down where your style might be or the elements that go into it. So right now you've got a few different types up there at the top. These are your blades. These are your hammers. These are the chain blades, your axe, and then kind of a like a war pike spear. And beneath each one is all the different ones that you can craft. So as I mentioned, I was using the hammers, and it'll let you know, I think it lets you know if you have them. Yes. So over on the right-hand side, it'll show you what's currently equipped, but above that, it will switch over to equip if you already have that crafted. And above it, you can see what your total power would be with that particular one. So I have the Gnasher, and I have the equipment to upgrade this if I wanted to, which would be giving me about a 40-point bump here. And one of the things about this one is it does a really nice job against an enraged behemoth. So after a period of time of fighting, these things are going to get super pissed off. They're going to be able to do a little bit more damage, but in this case, you are as well against them. So that is a nice one, especially if you are playing with a group that maybe is a bit more passive on some of their abilities and styles. So moving on down, you can see some of these higher ones, like when you're crafting them for the first time, require a bit more elements, but to upgrade it doesn't take as much at the early stages in the game. So I've gotten some of the early ones here that give you like a frost damage. I have one that'll do electrical damage, and then I have one that'll do a fire damage. I think the hammers look really cool. As you notice on the hammer, there's a handle and like a throttle in the bottom. These actually have a cannon built into them. So all these weapons have secondary attacks or abilities. This is great because you can use it to dodge out really quick, as I'll show you when you're fighting. You can do it as a shotgun blast. It'll allow you to propel and do like an aerial attack, which is neat. If you've played with an insect glaive on Monster Hunter and a hammer in Monster Hunter, it is, in a way, in a very, very weird way, kind of a hybrid of those two together. You don't fling about nearly as much as you would with an insect blade, but it does propel you and help you move around a lot. For being such a slow weapon, the movement leading up to attacks, it does help out quite a bit, and I think that's a really neat trade-off. I have played with a sword briefly when I started up the game. That's what you begin with. I liked it fine. I didn't spend enough time with it to really have too much of an informed opinion on it, and I have not done a whole lot here with the chain blades, but people seem to really like how fast those are. One thing you'll notice, most of the weapons are going to be doing the same damage right out of the gate. So it's more about finding the style and movement that you like, and then you can start to build out and increase them. And I'm still doing that with the hammer and trying to figure out what that is. I also have a skin on my hammer. And so I'm using the Gnasher, but I have this skin on it to make it look a little bit different. So let's take a quick break and look at those things. When you go into your menu, you have a few different things. You have your map, your quest log, the hunt pass, mastery, your loadout, personality, and your move list. Every time you have a weapon equipped, let's go to that. For move list, it's going to show you all the attacks you can do and what kind of damage they're going to be doing. At the bottom there, it's going to let you know what that damage text means. So every time you hit a behemoth, you're going to see a different colored number pop up and let you know what you're doing. So starting left to right, there's stagger damage, there's wound damage, there's part damage, and there's basic damage. I love part damage. That was something I really gravitated towards playing Monster Hunter. I like to go in and break parts off. That way you get more materials at the end of the fight. But the stagger damage is great also, and a lot of times with a hammer, you're going to get both of those. So using the hammer, I can do stagger damage and part damage. So I'm breaking parts off, getting the team more equipment, but then I'll knock these sons of bitches down, and then the team will come in. So if I had somebody that was a bit more fast using those quick blades, they can come in and do all kinds of nasty damage after I've knocked the behemoth back with the hammer. But it's a pretty simple breakdown, especially in comparison to Monster Hunter. You've got just a very few limited movesets here where there's a lot of different elements going into play in Monster Hunter. So again, Monster Hunter Lite, free to play. I'm going to keep saying that as we're talking. Personality, that is going to be where you do your banner, and you can change your title. So I have the title of Arc Slayer. That was the pack that I got, that I paid into. So I was buying something to get the season pass for this, the Hunts Pass, and I decided just to get this one because I thought this was kind of a weird medieval science fiction looking outfit, and I don't know if it's the way I want to look, but I thought I'd try it out for a bit. Outside of that, you've got your sigil and your banner, and you can go into this, and this is all the things that you can change. So you've got logos, you've got colors. Some of these are locked. As you can see, you might have the ability to unlock them through, like these here are going to be unlocked through the Epic or the Elite Hunts Pass. So you have the opportunity to get those different styles. And then you have, again, the actual banner holder. So I have not messed around with this a whole lot. I think it's a cool idea. Here are all the different emotes that you can get. I haven't unlocked all of these yet. I don't know if they have them broken down in a certain way. It looks like it's just more for, this is the different ones you can equip. So you have the 4 spots that you can emote. Here you can change out what they are. These can be acquired through using in-game currency or unlocking them through the season pass. And then your signal flare, you can also shoot this out, and it will be kind of a firework that happens to loot your team. I think I will use the Arc Slayer, and that's the preview of it there. So the Assassin Strike looks like that. And you get a nice deep sound too. That's what you're going to be hearing. So I'll equip that one. And then Hunt Arrival, pretty straightforward. So as you arrive, you can do silly things like this, hiding behind a log. There's also the Moon Blossoms, which I was going to show this one. There we go. Pretty. And if you wanted to buy that, that would cost you 1,000 platinum. So most of these higher tiered emotes are 1,000 platinum, which I don't know the exact dollar amount for that right now. So those are the personality traits that you can change. And your loadout. So this is a lot of fun to mess around with. Right now, you have an overview of what your weapon is and the damage it does. Then beneath that, you have your armor and your lantern. And over on the right, you have your perk summary. So all the items that I have and all the cells that I've put into my items, this is where it's going to tell you, here's all the things that you're currently doing. I have to imagine as you progress through the game, there's going to be more and more builds and loadouts and tinkering and playing, and there's a lot of moving pieces here. So it can be a bit overwhelming when you first look at it, but just think again about like your play style. And when you have these different loadouts, how you can change that and make it fit your style a bit more. So if I wanted to start to mess with this loadout, I'm going to go over here, and first I'm going to change some of these perks that I have. So I can't unlock this last one yet. I'm really close. I'm at level 6, I believe. And then I'll be able to equip 4 different items. So I have my grenades. I've got the Slayer Flask, which is going to give me health. That's super handy. And I will put a consumable in here. So I have some really nice ones that came with unlocking the Arc Slayer stuff. So I don't want to overdo it too much and use those at this state in the game. But there's Transfusion Grenade. You have an Inferno Grenade. You can do an Airstrike Beacon. And you can only bring one of those with you on a hunt. The Barrage Grenade, I use this one quite a bit. It's nice. It's kind of a cluster grenade. And then there's the Blitz Tonic we talked about, and then our Bulwark Tonic. So I'm going to be using the hammer when we go out. I'm going to go ahead and equip that. I would probably do another grenade or that Blitz Tonic here. So I've got my consumables loaded out. But back over here for the weapons, if I select my hammer, it's going to show me what's currently equipped and what modifications it has on it. And then you can transmog other things into it. So if I wanted to use, I can't remember the name of this particular currency, but I can take elements from another hammer and bring it into this particular one, which is nice. So if I wanted one of those elemental or one of the powers from one of those, I can do that. The concussive salvo, so this is that ammo that you put into it. I don't have any other elements I can do at this time with it, but that's where you would change it. And I don't have any mods for this weapon. I don't have a power cell currently infused into it, so I can bring one of these in right now. Increase damage against enraged behemoths. I'll probably do that. And you can see in the perk section it did just add that over there as well. And I don't have a utility cell equipped on it. You will have to revive your allies. That's pretty handy. Aether Vents gains a flat amount of lantern change. I don't know if I want. Like, I'm gonna be the guy that's probably getting revived more. Ooh, this is good. Restore some health whenever a behemoth part is wounded. I think that'll be a nice one. So I've gotten my hammer all loaded up for this particular event, and I don't even know if I'm going to use this one until we figure it out. I think we said we're going to do a Drake. I'll use this one. We'll be good. For your helm, now I have this turned off. You can have it to where it's hidden whenever you're in Ramsgate. You can have it when it's hidden on island only. It's always visible if you want to have that. I just have mine always hidden. You can dye these elements. I don't know how much it changes. Oh, I don't have the helmet on. Sorry. Let me go down to the breastplate. So normally what I would look like, and maybe I'll just switch it back over to that. I have these different cosmetic skins I can put onto it. And then I have my other body armor that I can switch over to as well. So if I go to the original, that's how it looks. I think it just looks so much better, actually. So let's just switch it over. I'll do that for each of these really quick. Always hidden. And switch back. And I'll get into the dyes here. Let me just get everything switched where we can actually see the impact of those. Looking better. Looking much better. Alright, and that's my lantern here. So I can change that. Here's all the ones I have. I want to use Skarn. So I've got it. Alright, so if I went back up here to my breastplate, when I get into this menu, same thing, modifications, but then you have your dye and transmog. So from this, you have a secondary and a primary color. I have evergreen selected as my primary, and my secondary is this brown color beneath it. A lot of these are locked. You can unlock them if needed, or if you're just like very colorful and you want to have that right away. There's some really nice gradients. And you can unlock these from doing heroic behemoths. And then you have the hunt pass, which will be Quicksilver, which looks pretty cool, actually. Maybe I will use that one. Or I'll do it on my secondary. I wonder what that looks like. Ooh, that's nice. So, I'm a huge fan of cosmetics, tinkering, collecting, crafting. Those are things I absolutely adore in games. So I could spend forever working on the loadout and how my character looks. It's one of my favorite things to do in video games. There's plenty of it to do here. And yes, there's a lot of stuff behind paywalls. There's a lot of stuff that's behind missions and completion. But there's enough at the beginning to really give you a taste of what you're going to be working with. So if we back out of that, you have your mastery. And inside of that, this is going to break down all the different behemoths that you've come across and particular experience against them. You can see rewards that you get whenever you do upgrade. So when I get to 6, I get my max upgrade to level 4. There's all this stuff with behemoths, axes. You can see I've been playing a lot with hammer. And then you get these cores when doing it. So every time that you progress forward in the game, you're getting something back. There's a lot of stuff that wants your money in this game, a lot of that. But there still is a great opportunity to go in and earn things. And you can put a lot of time in and just not spend any money on it and be happy, and that's great. But if you don't have the time or the desire to do it, you can, of course, pay to do those things. And speaking of which, this is the Hunt Pass. I showed you this earlier. It's just a simple breakdown of all the items you can acquire. We're currently at level 17 in the Hunt's Pass, trying our damnedest to grow and go up. I am not going to be putting any money in here. There's not anything I saw that I can't live without, even though that's pretty cool. I'm not going to spend money on it. And that is the Hunt's Pass. So again, if you've played any game that has this, I know that Rocket League does this, Fortnite does this, Apex does this, a lot of the free-to-play games that you're looking at, or, heavy-handed cosmetics or heavy-handed in-game loot boxes, like they're going to do something similar with it as well, but you can purchase that as, I can't remember what the Elite was, I think it was like 2,400 Platinum, I think is what it's on sale for right now. Your quest log. So I've got quite a few that I've picked up from people around Ramsgate. And as you just click on each one, it does a breakdown of what you have and what you need to do. You do get hunt pass challenges that are on a weekly basis. So I am slowly but surely doing some work here. And this is going to be what informs a lot of my decisions. Like, do I want to do this, or this? What do I need to move forward? This is the one that came from Katerin. So this is kind of the introduction ones. So I'm really focusing more on doing these. This is the one that's had the biggest slowdown. So right now it's saying, hey, you need to get to level 10, which does take some time. You need to craft and get your armor up to 275. So this is like you can't go past anything in this game until you're here, which is a bit hand-holdy, but like I understand these games are difficult, and if you jump into a fight that you're not equipped for, you're just going to have a really bad time. And then the map. So you can see here your patrols and your pursuits and picking those out of the Shattered Isles. And that's a quick rundown of the menu system. So I mentioned earlier that we were going to potentially take on, I think it was Drask, I can't remember which one it was. Let me go look at her really quick, and we'll do that.
Hello, Slayer.
The Drask.
Your style.
So let's go find a Drask and see if we can get into something with that. I'm going to get a few more.
Everywhere.
No, I'll just use the grenades I have. I'm not going to get any more right now. So can I do, is it neutral? No. I think it's a Terra. But there it is. So now up at the top, underneath the compass, it's looking for a hunt. If you push in the right thumbstick, it'll give you a rundown of what you're looking for. It'll show you what works well against it and what doesn't. It'll also show you what your rewards are for doing this. So we're going to go and join up, hopefully, with a few different people. As I hopped on this morning, there was a lot of people playing, and I wasn't able to get into the game for some time. So I don't think it's going to be hard to find anybody. But if you want to go now, you can, or you can abandon. I'm going to go ahead and go now because we've gone through all the menu systems and a lot of the stuff back here in Ramsgate. And I'll show you some hunting mechanics. I'll show you gathering resources. And it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to beat the shit out of this thing. Hopefully. Alright, so I'm in a pretty good spot. It gives you a good rundown here of the items that you have. So this is an element guide versus shock behemoth. So right now you want to use shock armor. You don't want to use terror armor. You don't want to use shock weapons. You want to use terror weapons. The current equipment that I have, though, is rated at 100. It only asks for a 75, so we are a little overpowered for this. It shouldn't be a problem for us at all. But Habes, Pro Player 7710, and Sauce God Cash are going to get me through it. I did ready up as soon as I came in, and we're all there, and we're going to get dropped in. So mechanics on this, you have X and Y attacks. Y is usually like a heavier attack, X is a quick attack, and the hammer, Y is going to fire your cannon, and it uses a reload mechanic a lot like the Gears of War reload mechanic. So if you do it faster, you get a little bit of a buff on it. But this is the Shattered Isles. There's our banners. Everybody's kind of breaking away. As you'll notice, again, no map. So you either stick with people and hope that you all find it at the same time, or you really hope that people know how to use the flare to let you know what's going on. So I'm grabbing some of these heart lilies. Usually when you come across a resource, there's like 5 or 6 of them in a cluster. And the music will change. So if you are lost, or if you're having a hard time locating where your team's at, or the behemoth, when people are engaged in combat, you can see over on the left their health bars, but you can also hear music as you get closer to those behemoths in the fight. What am I doing here? There we go. Hold down the R trigger to run. It's a little strange. I'm used to thumbsticks, but there's a flare. No fall damage, big bonus. If you bounce over these, you'll notice that you get an increase in your stamina and your speed. There's these little jump pads you can take to go up. This Aether Vent is you can come over to it to get health if needed while you're fighting. Let's just get into it. Ooh. So I have not fought one of these yet. Looks to be doing some pretty standard attacks. As you can see, I'm doing stagger and break damage on this. That was using the vent of the hammer there. One of the benefits of it. So if you're sprinting and you do the... Ooh, not like that. If you're sprinting and you do the shotgun blast, you'll do an aerial attack, which is really nice. Now, they really encourage you to roll in this game, and you can roll into attacks, which is great. It's just learning movements and timing. So I'm already in a spot where I'm going to do that. I'm going to use my... I just activated that lantern ability of mine, which is giving me that shielding for a few seconds there, knowing that I was going to come up here and start to really just lay in on it. So if you're hitting a particular body part and you're not seeing the colors that you want, like for me, if I'm looking for yellow and I'm just seeing white, there's usually a reason behind it, and that is that you've already broken that part. I don't know where my team went. So he's not nearly as aggressive or as quick as some of the other ones that I've fought against. He still has quite an attack on it. That tail whip and then his belly slide that he does. So I'm going to come over here to this vent, get a little health really quick. And you just hold down A when you're over this area, and it gives you a bit of a health boost. This is not unlimited. It will run out. So try to leave some for the rest of your team as well when playing. Nice hit. Somebody set him on fire. It's pretty great whenever you break apart, cut off a body part as well. Movesets are very, very simple comparative to other games that do something similar, but you also want to utilize and complement the best that you can. If you have somebody that can, you know, cut off the tail like that just happened, you want to do that because you get extra points and benefits from it. So stay out of the way of other people if they got like more of a wounding weapon, where, you know, we have more of these staggering and breaking. Focus on breaking parts and not necessarily wounding. So I'm going to pop a grenade to show you that as well. You get a nice little arc. You want to line it up and throw. That's going to be a cluster, so when I hit, multiple hits there with it. I'll do one more right in the face. He did the same thing to me though. Got that reload buff. Got a little level up on the hammer there on that hit. And I think that we just slain it. And that's it. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So I got an S+, same as the team. Pretty happy with it. You can get an S+++. When you continue past this screen, it's going to show you the loot, but also the progression guide for that particular Slayer, which, not bad. We're getting really close to the hammer there with 10. Got quite a bit of the base reward, and then I got bonus because I was never down, and I have the hunt pass, so you're always going to get more with that elite hunt pass. So that in itself to me is worth it, especially if you're trying to grind and do things. You're going to get all those elements there with it. So if we go back into Ramsgate now, we're going to take a look and see if we can craft anything, or if I should craft anything, and probably go from there. Load times are pretty quick on it for the most part, considering all the people and places that you're loading into one spot. As I said earlier, I had a hard time getting into the game. This is the first time it's happened, but it took me maybe like 15 minutes to get a server, just because they were so full. And one of the things that's nice too, after you do a hunt, usually you'll get an indication of like progression in certain quests that you were working on. If I got any of those cores, which I think I did. Yeah, we did. there's that gold item above the core breaker, letting you know that you can use it. So it's a rare. I only have one of them. If we go to open it, see if we get anything good. Alright, once that's done, you can open all. And then you get these other cells. So nothing that's too crazy, but still something. And I wanted to go see about the armor now that we got some more parts. I don't think we have nearly enough, but still worth grabbing. And we want to get these 10 of these, so hopefully I can get them. I'm up to 5 death marks, halfway there, and I thought there was another one over here. Six of them. Getting there. I see any out here. Alright. Armor Smith. So now I have at least some to do that. So it's frost resistance, shock resistance. Not good against Terra and Blaze. I'll do the chest piece. Why not? So I can't make these now, but I can make the boots. Alright. Pretty cool. So that is a quick run through of the loop of Dauntless here. You're going to craft resources, go fight behemoths, come back and do the same thing, and hopefully after each fight you're going to progress your level and your skills and your weapons and take on bigger and badder behemoths and make bigger and badder weapons and armor. In closing, you know, I think this game's a lot of fun. I probably prefer Monster Hunter a bit more. I really like Monster Hunter Worlds quite a bit. But Dauntless is a free-to-play game that is a really great time with friends especially. I've enjoyed like the cosmetics. I enjoy the mechanics that are here. It's not anything that requires a ton of strategy, but there is going to be some elements of fighting into it. I think that it'll do very well for the most part. I don't think it's going to like disrupt anybody who is really into PvP. But if you're looking for a great PvE cooperative experience, have your friends download it. And as I mentioned, it's cross-play, so you can play with your friends that maybe don't have an Xbox or a PlayStation. I can't wait to get it on my Switch. I think I'll play it a lot more on there. And being able to cross-play with people has been a ton of fun. So, Dauntless, free-to-play, Monster Hunter Lite, really great game if you're into different classes and customization of those classes and different mechanics in combat. It's a good time. I recommend it. I say check it out. It doesn't cost you anything to check it out at that matter. If you liked this video, you can find other ones on my YouTube channel. I also have a website, which is lumberjacksmack.com. I post 1-minute reviews up to Instagram and Twitter, just to give you a preview of that. I usually focus on maybe like a AAA game here and there, but mostly games that are free to play or included in services you might be paying for. So if you are paying for Game Pass, I will do 1-minute reviews of those games. Games with gold from Microsoft, PlayStation Plus games if you are on that platform. And then on Nintendo, I typically just do some of their newer or older indie games on that platform. I really appreciate you all hanging out with me today, and drop me a line if there's another game you think I should check out. Thank you so much.